Now, in the previous subtask, we saw read JSON and write JSON, and in this particular subtask, we are going to be looking at the write CSV function. Come to the objective source particular subtask, we need to write the data to the CSV file. You need to open the file present using file writer, and we need to create a CSV writer instance with the file writer, because we cannot convert it directly into JSON array object like we did with JSON. And over here, we need to open another CSV writer along with the file writer. And we need to extract headers from the first JSON object, and then we're going to write all data rows using write next, and we're going to return true if writing completes successfully, and in case you get an error or we get empty data, we're going to print out no data to write or error. Coming to the code, this function will be of type boolean, which is going to return true or false, and we're going to take the file path and JSON array object as an input. And if the JSON array object is empty, or the length is 0, that is it has no values in it, then we're going to print out no data to write, and we're going to return false. And here we have a try and catch block. So in the try block, so first we're going to recreate a new file writer object to access the file present at this particular file path, and if the file does not exist, we're actually going to create a new file. And after that, we're going to use the CSV writer object, so you can easily write the data separated by columns in a particular format. And we're going to create a new JSON object called first, which is going to contain all the column names, which you're going to get using data.getJSON object 0. This is because the first row will contain the column names. And after that, whatever column names you get from the data JSON array, we're going to add it to this array of strings called headers, which will contain all the column names. Now after getting the column names, you're going to write the column names into the CSV file using writer.write next headers. If you remember, writer is the CSV writer object which you opened over here. And after that, first we're going to run a for loop iterate through every single row present, that is data.length, and at the first line we're going to get the current row which we are iterating through. And after getting the current row, that is let's say for the first iteration we're going to get the first row, we are going to create another array of strings called row, which will contain all the values for a particular row. And after that, we're going to run one more for loop to iterate through every column. And then over here, row of j is equal to obj.getString headers j. So what does this line mean? This line basically means for this particular value of the row array, that is, let's say the first iteration j will be 0, that is the first value of the row, like let's say its name. So the name will be equal to obj.getString headers j. So if you notice, headers and row are of same length. That is why both will be corresponding to the same column at the same time. So for j value 0, both the row array and the headers array will be referencing to the same column. That's why we'll be printing out the actual value present at the column in the data using this obj.getString headers j. And after getting the actual value present at the column, we're going to return it to this new row array. And after iterating to every column for a particular row, then we're going to write it to the CSV file using writer.write next row, and after that we're going to go to the next row, and similarly we will be iterating through the entire CSV file. And after that, if this is successful, we're going to return true, and in case you catch an error, we're going to print out fail to write CSV and we're going to return false. Coming to the main function, we are just adding data to the JSON object because right now we haven't opened or created any kind of file. That's why we have just created a bunch of JSON objects and put it together in the employee data, which is a JSON array. And after that, we're going to take input from the user for the CSV file path. And after that, we're going to check if write CSV gave out true or false. And if it gave out true, we're going to print out data written successfully. Let's just run this code once. So let me give employees.csv. So you can see data written successfully. Let me just submit this code once. If we pass all the test cases, let's move on to the next subtask.